So I don't know if y'all been noticing it, but I've been noticing that the cost of living has been really getting out of control. And it's to the point where millions of Americans are really trying to figure things out. I got a few clips. Check them out and I'll come back with my commentary.
The cost of living is absolutely insane. You can't afford anything anymore. Every time you go to put gas in your car, you're paying more money for fuel that isn't going to last you as long. Go to the grocery store, forget it. More people are out here deciding to hit up food banks because groceries, basic human necessities, are absolutely unaffordable. There's people in their late 20s getting priced out of their homes, having to move back in with their parents because it's not doable anymore. There's people out here making the most money that they've ever made, yet they're the brokest that they've ever been. Even if you're making like $40 an hour, you're still just barely scraping by in this economy, and that used to be a good wage too. If you were making $40 to $50 an hour just 5 short years ago, you were able to easily get ahead. And then you wonder why we're all angry and on edge because we can't afford to buy a house anymore. We can hardly even afford Walmart anymore. Yet we're working our lives away, yet the reward isn't there anymore.
What is the end game of capitalism? Because capitalism only works if people have money to participate in the economy. So if prices keep rising and wages don't keep up and people don't have enough money to spend, doesn't capitalism eventually stop working? Because soon the people that the capitalists are trying to sell to won't be able to afford what they're trying to sell. So knowing that, what is the long-term play here if no one can afford to buy anything anymore? Because if the goal is to maximize profits, and you do that by raising prices, cutting costs, and keeping wages as low as possible, then who is actually supposed to be participating in the economy? You're telling me these companies spend billions on advertising to try to convince people that they need something, and then they pay those same people so little that they can barely afford it? Wouldn't it just be cheaper to pay everyone a livable wage instead of spending all that money on advertising? So my question is, what happens next? Because if people can't even buy groceries without putting them on a credit card, where does the growth come from? Do we think there's a point where the greed stops and maybe they realize how backwards all of this is? Is the goal just to have unlimited money, using resources from the planet that are limited, and paychecks from people that are even more limited?
So they're saying that this is how much it costs to live comfortably in each state. And they considering a 6-figure income now lower middle class. Who would have thought that we really would reach a time where if somebody walked up to you and said they made 6 figures, you want to put your hand on their shoulder and say, it's going to be all right. It's gonna be all right. You gonna make it. You gonna overcome this. One day, just keep praying and believing and keep working hard. Who would have thought that, y'all? You mean to tell me to live comfortably? Let's just say for an example, you got 2 married couples. The husband and the wife got to make $200,000. Got to make $100,000 a piece. Household income of $200,000+ to live comfortably in the United States. I believe this. Look at the gas prices now. Just look at the freaking gas prices, man. Everybody out here ain't balling. Everybody out here ain't got it. I just spent almost $70 filling up my tank the other day. $70-something. The average person can't afford to pay that type of gas to fill their tank up. People paying that for cars. That's taking gas, taking everything everybody got. What you got left, you can't even fill your tank up all the way. You got to go half. Something got to change, man. I don't know when it's going to change. I don't know how it's going to change. They say prayer changes things. I solely believe that. So it's going to be, if people, we probably doing more prayer now, United States of America, than we ever have on the history of the face of the planet. People are praying now than they ever have in history. I know they are. I know it.
This video is going to break down the cost of living in America. When you take the average rent, which is $1,750, then when you are in a house, you do have other expenses like utilities. You have electricity, gas, water, sewer, and internet. Most people don't have cable anymore, but so many people do have streaming services because you do need some sort of cheap entertainment. And then you take, most people do have a car payment. The average car payment right now is $537 for a used, $767 for a new. If you do have a car, you need car insurance. And if you have car insurance and a car loan, you need full coverage. The average car insurance right now is $193 a month. If you have a car, you need to pay gas, about $200 a month for gas. You can't forget about health insurance. $625 is the monthly premium that a lot of people pay for families. $124 is what they say for an employee sponsored. You can't forget your phone bill because everybody has a phone. It is 2026. You literally cannot live in this world without a phone anymore. And that's $141 a month. Groceries, the average person, they say, spends $365 a month on groceries. Median income is $66,600 a year, which puts you about $4,200 a month after taxes. And congrats, you have $264 left over.
Let's talk about the cost of living crisis. So how much is enough to have a life? Well, let's assume that you're a single person, that you have no children, no pets, neither chit nor child, and that you have to pay averages. So average rent across the United States was at $2,000. It dropped down to like $1,900. I'm going to call that $2,000 with utilities. Average spend on variable is going to bring us about $800 to $1,000. And we're going to throw in at least another $500, assuming you have a car payment, some form of transit. And this is before savings or any other debt payments. Let's assume this person is debt-free. This person is living an amazing life. They need $3,500 to $4,000. What does that equal when you had in this little thing called health insurance and a retirement, which we should all be doing? That would mean they need to make $80,000 plus dollars.
Okay, so there you have it. So as you saw in those few clips, people was giving a breakdown on the cost of living. And as you know, with the cost of like food going up, gas going up, electricity bills just going through the roof, it's just really discouraging, and people are really trying to figure it out. Leave a comment down below. What have you been experiencing as of late? And I know these are just like times where you just kind of really trying to figure it out, and you kind of thinking back to like what your parents told you and what people have always said, you know, save and just kind of just be mindful of your spending. But how do you do that when your pay is not going up? All right, y'all, I really appreciate y'all hearing what I gotta say, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.